Imagine a meeting room. Everyone is talking, everyone is sharing their opinion. Someone is yelling, someone is being cut off, someone is insisting, "No, I'm saying this." Someone is trying to make people laugh, someone is trying to impress. In the corner, there's a quiet person. They aren't speaking or defending themselves, they're just watching. He knows who's tense, he sees who's afraid, he tracks what everyone wants. He sees what everyone is hiding. He sees who appears strong but is hollow inside. And as the meeting ends, that quiet man speaks. One sentence, clear, sharp, indisputable, and the room completely changes. Because that man had spent an hour mapping things out. He'd seen everyone's strengths. He'd seen everyone's weaknesses. He'd calculated who to push where. He knew who would react to which word. And that single sentence was the product of all that observation. The loudmouth spent an hour just to make a show. The quiet man spent an hour to learn everything. Who won? Machiavelli saw this 500 years ago. He observed the courts, he observed the meetings, he observed the negotiations, and every time he reached the same conclusion. The man who controls the room is not the one who talks the most. It's the quietest one because he's the one who sees the best. Today I'm going to teach you about silence and observation. Are you ready? This channel shares truths like this every week. Most people aren't ready to hear them, but you're here. That alone shows you're different. If you're ready, subscribe. And let's continue. Write this in the comments. The silent one controls. Why does speaking cost you power? The world taught you the exact opposite. Express yourself. Make your voice heard. Take your place at the table. Be visible. If you don't speak up, you'll be ignored. And you grew up with that teaching. You entered meetings with that teaching. You built relationships with that teaching. You tried to be yourself with that teaching. But now I'm telling you the truth about that teaching. Speaking is sharing information, and information is power. But information shared is power lost. What happens every time you speak? You reveal what bothers you. You reveal what excites you. You reveal where you're vulnerable. You reveal where you're strong. You reveal your limits, your fears, and your desires. And the person across from you, whether consciously or not, is gathering this information. They're mapping you out, and that map can be used against you. Machiavelli wrote, "The man who speaks reveals his weapon. The silent man hides his weapon, and the hidden weapon is always more dangerous." Speaking isn't bad. But voicing every thought at every moment, that's showing your weapon to everyone. Stay silent, observe, and speak only at the exact right moment, with the exact right word. When that moment comes, no one can stop you. Write this in the comments. I'm not showing my weapon. What does the silent man see? What does the silent man see? Most people view silence as something passive. I'm not saying anything, so I must not be doing anything. But that's completely wrong. Silence is the most active action. Because every second the silent man doesn't speak. He's seeing, he's analyzing, he calculates. And this calculation eventually turns into the most powerful move. So what does he see? First, he sees the true dynamics. Who at the table is truly powerful? And who only appears to be? Who is afraid but trying to hide it? Who wants something but isn't saying it? These dynamics are visible only to the observer. Second, he sees the triggers. Which word upsets whom? Which topic makes someone raise their voice? At which moment does someone go on the defensive? These triggers are worth their weight in gold to the silent observer. Third, he sees the gaps. What wasn't said in the conversation? Which topic was skipped in the meeting? Which question wasn't asked, but should have been? These gaps, are the most powerful insights. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observation is the highest form of thought, for observation sees the truth as it is. Speech, however, interprets the truth. The silent man sees the truth. The speaking man interprets the truth. And the one who sees the truth is always stronger than the one who interprets it." Write this in the comments. I see, I calculate, then I speak. The weakness of the shouter. The man who shouts the loudest, what is he losing? Without realizing it, he is losing everything. Why does the man shout? Because he wants to be heard. Because he wants to be validated. Because he wants to prove he exists. Because he carries the fear that if he doesn't take a seat at the table, he'll be ignored. And this fear, it seeps out every time he shouts. The quiet man sees that fear. And he knows this man is vulnerable. This man is in need. This man, to put it plainly, can be manipulated. Machiavelli wrote, "The man who feels compelled to prove himself has already lost, because the need to prove oneself is the clearest confession of insecurity. The man who shouts wants to appear strong, but the opposite happens. With every shout, he becomes a little more readable. With every reaction, he becomes a little more predictable. With every defense, he becomes a little more controllable. And the quiet man, he just watches and waits and knows. The right moment will come, and in that moment, a single word will be enough." Write this in the comments. I'm not proving anything, I simply am. How does it look in practice? The theory sounds great, but the real world is different. Here are some real-life scenarios. Business meeting. Everyone is talking, everyone is sharing ideas. You're silent, you're listening, you're observing. You see how your boss reacts. You see which ideas are actually being heard. Social setting. Everyone is trying to get attention. Everyone is talking. Everyone is laughing. You're quiet. You're observing. And someone turns to you. You don't talk much. You smile. "I'm listening," you say. And in that moment, that person starts to wonder about you. Because the one who is quiet is the one who is mysterious, and the mysterious one is the one who captures attention. Sun Tzu wrote, "The commander who wins the war acts only after fully understanding the enemy. He who acts without understanding relies on luck. Understand, then act." This is the silent man's formula. Write this in the comments. First, I understand, then I act. Silence as a way of life. Silence is not just a tactic, it is a way of life. Most people see silence as a temporary strategy. I'll stay quiet at this meeting. I'll listen before this negotiation. But then they revert to their old ways. They shout, they explain, they share everything. The truly silent man is silent everywhere, always. He carries out his plans in silence. He builds his successes in silence. He endures his pain in silence. He manages his fear in silence. He feels his joy in silence. This is not coldness, this is control. Marcus Aurelius wrote this while he was emperor. Everything poured out outward is taken from within, and the man whose inner self is empty cannot find anything to pour out. The quiet man protects his inner self. He pours out only what is necessary, at the right time, to the right person. And this selectivity, it makes him inexhaustible. It makes him indestructible. It makes him unbreakable, because he is always full, always ready, always strong. Silence is not a tactic. Silence is an identity. And the man who embraces that identity at every table, in every room, in every relationship, holds the reins. Write this in the comments. Silence is my identity. The moment the silent man speaks. Does the silent man never speak? He speaks, but he speaks differently from everyone else. Most people use speech to assert their existence. I'm here. I matter. Listen to me. The silent man uses speech to make an impact. The only thing I need to say right now is this. And this will change everything. The difference is enormous. The first speaks because he cannot remain silent. The second speaks because the exact right moment has arrived. And a single sentence spoken at the exact right moment is more powerful than 1,000 words shouted for hours. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince should speak sparingly, but when he speaks, every word must be a move. For the words of a man who speaks often lose their value. The words of a man who speaks sparingly hold the value of gold." Don't cheapen your words. Be silent for an hour. Observe, calculate, and at the exact right moment, with the exact right word, speak. When that moment comes, no one can stop you. No one can surpass you. No one can ignore you, because you are the quietest person at the table, and the quietest person at the table controls everything. Write this in the comments. I speak little, but when I do speak, everything changes. In this video, you've faced 6 truths. You understood why speaking leads to a loss of power. You learned what the silent man sees. You saw the weakness of the one who shouts. You understood how to apply this in practice. You saw that silence is a way of life. And you understood the power of the moment when the silent man speaks. After observing the courts, Machiavelli wrote, "The strongest man is the one who is least seen. The one who is least seen is the one who sees the most. And the one who sees the most controls everything. The one who is least seen, the one who sees the most, the one who controls everything. These 3 things come together in the same man, and that man is the quietest person at the table." Most people can't grasp this. They want to speak. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. And every time they do, they become a little more predictable, a little more controllable, a little more ordinary. You watched this video all the way through. That alone shows you're different. If you want to go deeper to learn the invisible mechanics of power plays, the unwritten rules of human psychology, and how the quiet man is built, subscribe, turn on notifications, because the next video goes even deeper. Final affirmation. Write in the comments, "I am the quietest person at the table, and I control everything."